It happened in a hotel conference room. White tablecloths, catered shrimp. The whole thing felt like a wedding reception. Except the only thing getting married was my pride in a wood chipper. Arthur, my wife's father, the CEO of Alden Logistics, and the man who used to say I was the future of this company, raised his glass of champagne and said, "Let's all welcome our new regional director, my niece, Lily." I blinked. I didn't hear wrong. He really said it. The whole room started clapping, forks and glasses clinking together like some bad joke punchline. I sat frozen in my chair, not smiling, not moving. My face burned so hot I thought it might crack. 3 years. 3 years of 70-hour weeks, missed Christmases, client emergencies, overnight flights, weekends in the office. I built the ops team from a dozen misfits to nearly 50 strong. This role was supposed to be mine. He told me it was mine. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I forced my hands to clap. Slow, deliberate. My palms stung with each hit. Arthur looked my way, just for a second, then turned his gaze toward the front like I was just another face in the crowd. "Ethan has been such a great mentor to Lily already," he added, like he was doing me some favor by feeding me scraps. I felt people glance at me, some with sympathy, some with that smug, ouch look they didn't bother hiding. Lily stood up, all polished and fake humble. That kind of smile you practice in the mirror. "I just want to thank Uncle Art for believing in me, and I'm excited to lean on Ethan's expertise while I settle in." Settle in? Expertise? I nearly choked on the word. She'd shadowed me for, 2 weeks total? Barely understood how to handle the Morrison account, let alone lead a region. I looked down at the table. My fingers clenched the napkin till it tore. People clapped louder when she finished, and a few raised glasses toward me, like I was some loyal lapdog who'd just rolled over on command. That was the moment I knew. No second chances. No promotion down the line. I wasn't overlooked. I was passed over, and not because I failed. I stood up, straightened my jacket, and nodded toward the front like I gave a damn. But in my gut, I already knew. I was done. I walked straight back to my office, shut the door behind me, and stared at the wall. As 6 frame plaques lined up in perfect rows. Top performance, team leadership, client growth award, year after year. I used to feel proud walking in every morning. Now they looked like punchlines. I sat down slow, like my body was made of concrete. My phone buzzed on the desk. "Melissa." "How did it go?" "Me. We'll talk later." I didn't trust myself to say more. Outside my open door, people moved past in quick glances. No one wanted to be the one to say it, but they all knew. The surprise announcement wasn't a surprise to anyone but me. I was the guy who got played, the guy who built the ship but didn't get a seat on the damn lifeboat. I caught Jenna from HR looking in as she passed. She gave me a tight smile, the kind you give a dog limping on the side of the road. Then Greg, my senior account lead, paused. He stepped in, put a hand on my shoulder, and said under his breath, "You deserved better, man." I nodded once, didn't say a word. My throat felt tight. The day dragged like wet cement. I answered some emails just to keep moving. Mostly I just sat, stared at those stupid plaques, and tried not to picture Lily behind my desk. Trying not to think about Arthur toasting her while pretending I wasn't sitting right there. That was the part that stuck. Like I didn't even exist. At 5 o'clock, I grabbed my keys and slid my laptop into my bag. I was halfway zipped when the knock came. Arthur, in his usual tailored suit, Rolex flashing just enough to make a point. "Got a minute?" he asked like it was any other Tuesday. I didn't answer, just sat down again. He came in, closed the door behind him, and eased into the chair across from me, like we were about to have a friendly catch-up. "I know today caught you off guard," he started, voice smooth like syrup over shit. "But I really believe this is the right move. Lily brings a fresh outlook, new energy, fresh outlook. Right, and I bring 3 years of breaking my back." He kept going. "I want to shift your role slightly, something more strategic, an advisory position, high-level input. You'd help Lily on board, of course, but also drive vision, not just execution. Translation, sit in the corner while his niece runs the show." I stared at him. "You told me 3 months ago the role was mine." He blinked. That calm mask slipped just a hair. "Things evolve, Ethan. Business needs change. You've always been adaptable." That word hit me wrong. Adaptable, like a spare tire. I leaned forward. "Be straight with me. What changed?" "Because I didn't." He rubbed the back of his neck. "It's not about your performance. It's about the company moving forward. We need fresh leadership and client relationships. You've been incredible. Everyone respects you. But Lily, she's family. There it was. No corporate buzzwords now. Just blood over merit. You used me, I said, low and sharp. He blinked again, like I'd slapped him. No, Ethan, come on. That's not fair. Isn't it? I pointed at the plaques. You don't get those by accident. I ran this region, Arthur. I built it from the ground up. You know that. His face tightened, lips pressed thin. I always appreciated that, which is why I'm trying to give you a place at the table going forward. You already gave it away. He shifted in his seat like the cushion had turned to nails. Lily has potential. She just needs the right guidance. That's where you come in. I let out a breath through my nose. Slow, controlled. She's not ready. You know it. Hell, she knows it. And you're betting the future of your company on someone who's never led a team. He didn't respond. Say it, I told him. Just say it. I'm not family. He stood, adjusted his watch. I'll give you space to process this. Then he walked out, and just like that it was clear. I wasn't just passed over. I was disposable. There was nothing left to say. The next morning, just after 9, Lily came bouncing into my office like it was the first day of middle school. She had a bright pink planner in one hand, a Starbucks cup in the other, and that rehearsed smile glued to her face. "I'm so excited to learn from you," she chirped, setting her bag down like she owned the place. I didn't say much, just nodded and opened the Morrison account dashboard. "Let's start with the big one," I said. Morrison's got 4 distribution centers, 2 in-state, 2 out. They expect weekly load reports by end-of-day Monday. No excuses. Their CFO, Daniel, will test you every step of the way. He's polite until he isn't. Got it? She clicked her pen and started scribbling like she was back in college. Weekly reports. Daniel's the CFO. Okay. Lead time expectations are strict, I added. 72 hours for East Coast runs, 48 for West. If we don't hit those, they drop us. No warning, no second chances. Got it, she said again, still smiling. But I could already see it. The smile had cracks. I walked her through fleet scheduling, warehouse coordination, the vendor escalation protocol, the stuff I'd built from scratch. She nodded along, asked a few softball questions, and scribbled more in her planner. By lunch, I knew. She was drowning, and the water hadn't even reached her neck yet. She didn't ask anything strategic, didn't push back, didn't even know what Daniel's preferred route optimization platform was. And that guy lives and dies by that software. If she went into a call blind, he'd tear her apart in 30 seconds. I took my soup into the break room and tossed it in the microwave. While it spun, I leaned against the counter, arms crossed, head pounding. From the other side of the wall, Arthur's office, voices filtered through. "He's a crutch," Arthur was saying. I froze. "He's too tied to the old clients. They're too comfortable with him. Makes it harder for new leadership to take hold." There was a pause. Then Lily's voice softer. "I know. I just feel bad. He's been nothing but helpful." Arthur didn't skip a beat. Ethan's reliable. I'll give him that. But he's tied to old methods. He'll stay long enough to smooth things over." The microwave beeped, but I didn't move. No other options. He'll stay. He didn't just sideline me. He thought I was stuck. Thought I'd keep playing lapdog because I had no choice. Like my entire worth started and ended with the loyalty I gave him. I grabbed the soup, walked back to my office, and sat at my desk without touching it. Lily showed up 10 minutes later, still chipper. "Quick question. Do you think Daniel prefers morning or afternoon calls?" I didn't look up. "Schedule whatever fits his calendar, and know your numbers before you call." She blinked. "Oh, okay, got it." She smiled again, but it didn't reach her eyes. I turned back to my screen. If Arthur thought I had no options, he was about to learn exactly how wrong he was. That night, after Melissa went to bed, I poured a glass of bourbon, sat at the kitchen table, and opened my laptop. No anger, no big emotions, just cold fingers on the keys. Subject, resignation. Effective 2 weeks from today. 2 clean paragraphs, professional, direct, no thank yous. No fluff, just facts. I printed it, signed it, folded it once, and slid it into a plain white envelope. Then I closed the laptop and finished the bourbon. I slept like I hadn't in weeks. Solid, dreamless, peaceful. Morning hit different. I put on my best charcoal suit, the one I usually save for big client meetings. Crisp shirt, tight knot on the tie. Not because I was trying to impress anyone, Just wanted to walk in looking like a man who knew exactly what he was doing. I left the envelope on my desk, tucked halfway under my mouse pad. Let it sit there while I answered emails like it was any other day. No hint, no signal. At exactly 10, I stood up, picked up the envelope, and walked it down the hallway. Arthur's assistant looked up, about to say something, but I didn't stop. I opened the door, walked in, and shut it behind me. Arthur was mid-call. He held up a finger. "Give me 2 minutes." I didn't say a word, just stood there and waited. After another 30 seconds, he ended the call and turned to me with that forced executive smile. "What's up, Ethan?" I dropped the envelope on his desk. He looked at it, then back at me. He opened it slowly, like he already knew what was inside and just didn't want to believe it. When he read the letter, his whole posture changed. "Wait, you're resigning?" I didn't blink. 2 weeks. Effective today. He sat back, hard. "You can't be serious." "I'm dead serious." He set the letter down and leaned forward. "Okay, listen. I know the transition's been bumpy. I can fix this. More money, different title. Let's carve out a real seat at the table for you. Let's—" I cut him off. "It's too late." He paused. "Come on, Ethan. You're reacting emotionally. You've built so much here. I built it because I thought it meant something." He opened his mouth, but I didn't let him speak. "I heard what you said to Lily." That stopped him cold. His face drained of color. I kept going. "I heard every word. I'm a crutch, too comfortable. You said I had no options, that I'd stay." He looked like he'd been caught stealing from the church plate. "Ethan, I always thought of you as family." I laughed. Not loud, not dramatic, just sharp, bitter. "That's the problem," I said. "You treat family like you own them." He stood up, probably trying to regain some sense of control. "Look, I made a tough call, but you matter to this company. I need you here." "No," I said. "You needed me to stay quiet and take the hit. You needed me to carry the load so Lily could play boss. You needed me used, not respected." We stared at each other across his $1,000 desk. For once, he didn't have anything else to say. I turned to leave. "You'll regret this," he said, barely above a whisper. I looked over my shoulder. "No," I told him. "You will." I walked out of Arthur's office and didn't look back. For the next 2 weeks, the air around me changed. Quiet. Tense. Like the whole office had sucked in a breath and was too scared to exhale. Lily started showing up at my door every morning. Planner in hand, nerves written all over her face. "Can we go over the Morrison schedule again? Do you think Daniel's gonna freak if we shift his delivery window by a day? Wait, what's the name of the dispatcher in Cincinnati?" I gave her just enough to keep the wheels from falling off. No more, no less. I didn't sabotage. I didn't hold grudges out loud. I just gave her the bare bones and let her figure out how to put the skin back on. She tried to keep it cheerful. I didn't. Everything I did, I documented. Client contacts, escalation paths, internal workflows, clean, efficient, organized, left nothing behind that could be blamed on me later. Coworkers treated me like I had a disease. A few stopped by to say they were sorry or wish me luck. Most just avoided eye contact in the hallway. One guy, James from finance, literally turned around and ducked into a side room when he saw me coming. Guilt or fear didn't matter. By the second week, even Lily had stopped pretending. She kept her questions short. Her eyes stopped meeting mine. I could see it sinking in, how deep the job really went, how heavy the weight actually was. She wasn't ready, and she knew it. But that was her problem now. My last day came. I cleaned out my office in under an hour. Couple mugs, a stack of notebooks, a framed picture of Melissa and me from 3 years back, the one taken right before I took this job. I tossed the plaques in a box, but left them in the trunk. Didn't want them in the house. At noon, Lily walked in holding a card. "Hey, the team signed this. Just wanted to say thanks for everything." The smile was fake. Her voice was flat, but her hands were shaking. Half the team had signed it. Some wrote real messages. Some just scribbled their names like they were being forced. I nodded. "Good luck, Lily." She didn't answer, just turned and walked out. Arthur didn't show. Of course he didn't. Man had all the power in the world, but couldn't face a 2-minute goodbye. Coward. I walked out of that building without saying another word, hit the parking lot, got in the car, and drove out without looking in the rear view once. That night, Melissa made steak. We ate on the patio with a bottle of wine and no phones. She didn't ask anything, just sat there with me, quiet and calm. Later, I turned off my alarm for the first time in years, and slept in like I'd earned it. I woke up at 9, made pancakes, and drank coffee on the couch in sweats. Melissa had already left for work, and I didn't have anywhere to be. No meetings, no emails, no fake smiles. Just quiet. 2 weeks into unemployment, I was starting to feel the itch. I wasn't built for sitting still. I wasn't panicking. We had savings. But I hated the stillness. I'd started browsing job boards just to keep my hands busy. That's when the call came. Unknown number? I almost let it go to voicemail. Hi, is this Ethan Caldwell? Yeah, who's this? This is Rachel from Brighton Logistics. I was wondering if you had time to talk this week. Our VP of Operations asked me to reach out. I sat up straight. Brighton was no joke. Fast-growing, lean, smart. One of the few companies I actually respected from the outside. I'm free now, I said. She laughed. Great, this won't take long. 15 minutes later, I had an interview scheduled. Turns out Daniel Morrison, yes, that Morrison, had personally recommended me. He was moving his account from Alden to Brighton and wanted someone he trusted to manage it. Said I was the only person who ever ran his ops right. That call flipped a switch in me. I wasn't disposable. I'd just been used by the wrong people. 2 rounds of interviews later, I was sitting across from Brighton's CEO, a sharp guy named Holden with sharp eyes to match. Modern office, no ego, just straight talk. So, Ethan, he said, flipping through my resume, why'd you leave Alden? I didn't hesitate. Because they promoted blood over results. He looked up, nodded once, and set the paper down. I got the offer 3 days later. 30% more money, better benefits, actual decision-making power, director of operations. For real this time. My first day at Brighton felt like stepping into clean air after choking in smoke for years. The team was lean, smart, hungry, no dead weight, no corporate politics. I ran the onboarding for Morrison myself, and it felt effortless, like driving a car I'd built myself. People actually listened when I talked. They took notes, asked follow-ups. My ideas didn't disappear into a void or get rebranded by someone with the right last name. By the end of the first week, I'd already pitched 2 process changes. By the second, both were implemented. It was night and day. I came home each night tired but clear-headed. Melissa noticed. You seem lighter, she said. I was, because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't chasing a title. I had it, and I earned every piece of it. Brighton didn't give me a second chance. They gave me the one Arthur never did, the one I'd already earned, and I wasn't wasting it. By the start of my second month at Brighton, the cracks at Alden started showing. Daniel Morrison pulled me aside after a strategy meeting and said, by the way, we weren't the only ones jumping ship. He wasn't kidding. I got the full story 2 days later. Alden had lost the Morrison account, plus 3 more. Long-time clients. Gone. Word was spreading about missed deliveries, sloppy follow-ups, and no clear leadership. I didn't smile when I heard it, but I won't lie, it felt right. Then my phone buzzed on a Thursday afternoon. It was Greg. I hadn't heard from him since my last week. Hey man, hope you're doing good, he said, trying to sound casual. I am. What's going on? He hesitated, then dropped it. They're doing layoffs. Started this week. Quiet cuts. I leaned back in my chair. Wow. Leadership's blaming you. I laughed once, sharp. For what? Leaving? They said you took everything with you. I shook my head. I didn't take anything, Greg. I just stopped giving it to people who didn't deserve it. He didn't argue. They're a mess, he said finally. No one knows who's running what. Lily's way over her head. That part didn't surprise me. Brighton picked up 2 more of Alden's former clients in less than a month. I led both onboardings. Smooth transitions. Easy wins. It wasn't even hard. Just clean processes and honest communication. I didn't gloat. I just kept working. But the day I got Margaret's application, I paused. She'd been with Alden's finance team since before I joined. Quiet, smart, brutally efficient. She didn't play politics, just got things done. I set up a quick call. She looked nervous on Zoom, her voice tight. I know it might be weird reaching out, but I heard you're building something solid over there. We are, I said, and we could use someone like you. I sent the offer the next day. She accepted by the end of the week. When she walked into Brighton for her first day, she pulled me aside in the hallway, eyes already misty. You didn't just walk away, she said. You built something better. That one hit me in the chest. I'd spent years pouring everything into Alden, and in the end, all they saw was someone they could squeeze dry. But here people saw me, and now I was finally building something that mattered, with people who earned their place, not inherited it. 6 months later, an envelope showed up at my house. Thick paper, gold lettering, Arthur's name printed on the back flap. Alden's annual dinner. I almost tossed it straight into the trash, then I didn't. Instead, I circled the date, pulled out my best Navy suit, and invited Holden, Brighton's CEO, to come with me. He didn't even hesitate. "Let's make it interesting," he said. We walked in side by side, heads turned. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. I caught a few people doing double takes, whispering. One guy from the old marketing team actually dropped his fork. The vibe? Awkward as hell. Low energy, smaller crowd, tables only half full. The kind of dinner where you could hear every scrape of a knife. Arthur stood near the bar. He looked older, thinner, shoulders slumped like gravity was finally winning. He spotted me, but didn't move. The room stayed stiff through dinner. Small talk, fake laughs, everyone pretending it wasn't falling apart around them. Lily sat near the front, flipping through her phone between courses. She didn't even glance my way. Near the end, Arthur got on stage. He cleared his throat, holding a glass award like it weighed more than it should. "This year," he said, voice slower than usual, "we're honoring someone who helped shape this company, even if they're no longer here." Then he said my name. I heard it echo across the room. A few people clapped before realizing no one else was. I walked up slowly, one step at a time, like I had all the time in the world. He held the award out. I took it with a blank face. "Thanks," I said into the mic. "Hard work should matter more than last names. That's all I'll say." A few people clapped. Some looked down at their plates. Lily didn't look up. Arthur stepped toward me when I turned to leave. "Ethan, wait. If you ever want to come back," I cut him off. "I work somewhere that sees me now." Didn't let him respond. Didn't need to. I walked straight off that stage, back to Holden, and we left without saying another word. Outside, the air felt sharp, clean. Sometimes you don't have to destroy something to win. You just have to outgrow it. The best revenge isn't yelling or fighting or burning it all down. The best revenge is doing better without them, and making sure they know it.